Well, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. I appreciate the opportunity. Just a little background, as you heard, I'm from Michigan. Grew up in Kalamazoo area. So I've been down in this area now since 1991, so what's that, 25 years. Big sports fan. I heard you say something about sports trivia. The Cardinals, I got to tell you, are my second favorite baseball team. The Blues are my second favorite hockey team. But I'm still got the Michigan roots, so I'm a Detroit Tiger fan and a Detroit Red Wing fan.
Oh, that's worse.
Well, I probably shouldn't be saying that we're up front here, but I thought I'd get that out of the way. So here's a little trivia for you, because I know you Cardinal fans would like to go back to '06 when you beat my Tigers, but I like to go all the way back to 1968. Anybody can go back that far? Remember that the Tigers and the Cardinals played in the '68 World Series? Anybody remember that one besides me? I was in junior high listening on my transistor radio during 7th grade science class to the games, because back then there were day games, no night games. And I was really into baseball, and the Tigers came back. As you might not want to recall, you were up 3-1.
You got lucky.
And we came back and won 4-3. The turning point in the World Series that year was when Lou Brock did not slide at home plate. Do you remember that play? If he slides, he's safe. You go, okay, we don't want to go up the curtain.
Catch the ball.
All right. Well, about a year and a half ago, God gave me my dream job, and that is the Executive Director of Community Hope Center. I love working at the Community Hope Center. As you know, our two main factors when it comes to job satisfaction. One is what you do, and the second thing, equally important, or maybe even more important, is who you do it with, your coworkers. And I have the best of both worlds. God has gifted me with the gift of encouragement, administration, and faith, and all three of those gifts come into play at Community Hope Center. I get to use those gifts every day. And then He's given me great people to work with. Community Hope Center is filled with volunteers. We are a volunteer-based ministry. There are only 4 paid staff people at Community Hope Center. I'm one of them. We have an assistant director, full-time. And we have 2 part-time staff members, an office manager and a financial director. Other than that, everyone who works at Community Hope Center is a volunteer. And so today, well, not today, we're closing on Thursdays, but tomorrow there will be about 50 people there volunteering to serve the poor of our area. And I get to work with them every day, and it is a joy. It is a pleasure for me to be able to be around people who are called to help people. And I really enjoy that. I get to go around and talk to people and try to encourage them. And I can't imagine a better job for me. And I'm so grateful that God gave me my dream job in my advancing years. I'm now 60 years old, and to get a dream job at 59 is pretty unusual. But it's just a great fit for who I am. I'm very grateful. Every day, I get to work with sisters and brothers in Christ who are called and competent, committed people. They're fun to be around. There's just a great spirit present there. It's the Holy Spirit working through people. And what I really love about it, the community, lots of things, but one thing, I've always been, as Mark mentioned, I was a pastor in Alton for 16 years. I've never been denominationally minded. I believe in the body of Christ working together and breaking down the walls of churches and denominations and saying we are one in Jesus. And that's what happens at Community Hope Center. We might talk about the churches that we're a part of, but that's not our focus. Our focus is Jesus, and I love that. That's another reason why it's a good fit for me being there as the director. We have 11 different departments. It's a very complex organization. I had no idea the complexity of it until I actually got a tour of the ministry back when I submitted my resume to be the director. One of the requirements was, if you submitted your resume, was to come out and take a tour of the Hope Center to make sure it was a good fit for you. Why waste my time and their time if it wasn't a good fit? I got the tour, and as I went around, I said, wow, I had no idea all that you do out here. And I didn't. As a pastor, I knew of the Community Hope Center. I knew the Hope Center helped people who were in need, but I had no idea the complexity of the ministry. And I would encourage you, we love to give tours. I love to give tours. If you ever want to come out and get a tour of the Hope Center, you really get your eyes opened up to all that we do. 11 different departments. And I get to work again with, we have volunteers. volunteers who are in charge of each of those departments. They're called department directors. They are quality people. They're not getting paid, but they're out there every day. Just about every one of our directors is out there every day working a full-time schedule. So I'm very grateful again for the opportunity to work with them. Now, prior to being called to be the director of the Hope Center, I really wasn't that aware of the huge number of people who are living in poverty in our community. Or was I aware of the difficult choices that people who live in poverty have to make on a regular basis. 2 years ago, the poverty rate in Madison County was 13%. Poverty rate for children was 17%. Fair market rent for a two-bedroom apartment. Anyone want to take a guess what the fair market rent value for a two-bedroom apartment is right now, approximately? $830 a month. So if a person is making minimum wage, do you know how many hours a week they have to work in order just to afford a two-bedroom apartment? 77 hours, just to pay the rent. So if a parent is paying more than they can afford for rent, they must make some really difficult choices on a regular basis. Do I buy food this week, or do I pay my electric bill? Tough choices. Community Hope Center exists to help people not to have to make those impossible choices. We give people free food, free household items, and free clothing. We're open every day except Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Our clients can come and get services every other week. So if a person comes tomorrow, they're not allowed to come next week, but they can come the following Monday. So every other week, persons can come to receive services from Community Hope Center. Every day we serve an average of 75 clients. That represents about 225 people when you include children. We give out about 1.5 tons of food a day. Last year we served nearly 7,000 different people. We have a lot of repeat clients, but we also have new people coming who need help. We also provide a delicious hot meal every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in our Soup for the Soul Cafe. This is a meal that's open to the community. It's not just for our clients. I eat there almost every day. And I invite you to come out. If you come out for a tour, we can do a tour and then go over for lunch. If you don't want to do a tour, just come out for lunch. It's a free lunch. It's great homemade soup, sandwiches, salad, and dessert. And I love it because it's not a soup kitchen. If you've ever been to a soup kitchen or know about soup kitchens, it's kind of like people walk along the line in front of the tables and we just kind of dish up the food and they go sit and they eat and then they go. But here it's everybody sitting down together. Our staff, our volunteers, our clients all sit together, and it's like a restaurant. It's just a great atmosphere. I'm so grateful for this ministry we provide through our Soup for the Soul Cafe. That's open again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 10 a.m., early lunch, all the way till 1 o'clock p.m. Anybody can come any day, and it's free. We also have 4 special ministries that we do. Not every day. We provide haircuts, free haircuts, usually every other week on a Monday. Depending on the hairstylist schedule, it's about every other week. We also provide very basic medical care. Dr. Schroeder volunteers his time. He was out there this morning at 10 a.m. until noon every other Thursday. If you have basic medical care, you can come and he can help you with that. We have a bicycle ministry. We receive all kinds of used bikes, and we have a Randy Brazier, who is our director of that, or a volunteer, he's in charge of that ministry. He works on those bikes, and we give a lot of bikes out at Christmas especially. But we also, if a person will come in tomorrow and say, hey, I need a bike to get to work, we got bikes ready to go. We can hand that bike to that person, and they can get their way to work through our bike ministry. We also, just last year, began our underwear drawer. A lady had a real passion for helping people who are poor. Something I never thought about before. If you're poor, you might not be able to buy underwear. We take it for granted, but people who are living in poverty sometimes can't afford that. So God put it on our heart to start this ministry. We opened up the underwear drawer, and it is going like blazes. And she gives away a lot of underwear to people in need. Our 2 biggest events that we do at Community Hope Center are Thanksgiving dinner. You may be familiar with that ministry. It's a delivery service. We take food out to people in our community who are shut in, homebound. If they can't get out, we take meals to them. It's a huge operation, and we have a lot of volunteers, mostly drivers, who are out taking meals to shut-ins. We also have a lot of people working in our gym, our store, during that day to do the chain, down the thing, loading up all the plates and taking them around, getting them all bagged up. It's a huge operation, but it runs like clockwork because we've been doing it for a long, long time. The second big event we do is our Christmas toy giveaway. This last year we gave out toys for 500 different children. And some of you may be familiar with this. We do a huge toy drive. We have barrels out all over the community, and maybe you threw a toy into a barrel. We are so appreciative of that because a lot of children have a great Christmas that they wouldn't have had otherwise because of supporting Community Hope Center with our Christmas toy drive. So how are we able to alleviate hunger and provide clothing to so many people? It's through the generosity of people like you, individuals who want to help us, churches, civic organizations like yours. We get support from all over the community, and I love the fact we are called Community Hope Center. We are community-based, and the community has rallied around Community Hope Center to help us do what God's called us to do. Community Hope Center is debt-free. We don't owe any money to anybody. We are not affiliated with the government, so that we don't have any restrictions on being able to share the gospel, Jesus Christ, with our clients, and we're grateful for that freedom. We opened in 1988, and I believe that God has blessed Community Hope Center for two main reasons. We serve the poor, and we try to do that with respect and dignity. It's one of our core values, serving each person with respect and dignity. And we don't serve down to people, we serve across to people. And the second reason I believe God has blessed us as He has is we are, as I mentioned earlier, a volunteer-based ministry. Only 4 paid staff people. We just have so many volunteers. That's why we're able to help so many people that we do. And just some numbers. In 2014, we had 163 different volunteers worked over 38,000 hours. 163 volunteers served over 38,000 hours in 1 year. So that breaks down to this. We're open 4 days a week, average about 22 people working 8 hours a day. And because we are a volunteer-based ministry, we're able to give out so much more than we take in. In 2014, we gave out over $3.7 million worth of goods and services. For every dollar that came into Community Hope Center, we gave out almost $15 in goods and services. That includes volunteer hours. And most importantly, we do share the good news of Jesus Christ. We are audited annually, both monetarily and for the goods and services we provide. We receive donations from lots of different organizations and agencies, none of whom limit our ability to share the gospel. I like to say this, we're not a faith-based organization. That's a government word, and that's okay. People can say we're faith-based, but I tell people we are not faith-based, we're Christ-centered. And the element that sets us apart from all the wonderful other charities in our community, and there are lots of wonderful agencies out there doing great work, but what kind of sets us apart is everybody who comes into our ministry and gets services, they sit down with a volunteer, a spiritual care volunteer, who then talks with them, asks them how they're doing, and then prays with them. So everyone who comes to Community Hope Center is prayed for, and that's what I believe sets us apart. So clients walk out of Community Hope Center not just with a trunk load of food and clothes and household items, but with a heart that has been lightened and encouraged through the volunteers at Community Hope Center. Through the support of our community and people like you, people who are hungry get fed, people who are down and out get encouraged, and people who are lost find Jesus. Let me just share with you a portion of a letter we received from a client. She says, "I thank Community Hope Center for your assistance with a box of food and many kindnesses that were given to me by the volunteers in your organization. You truly do help those who are experiencing financial hardships in their life. The food sustained me, but more important was how the volunteers at Community Hope Center made the experience a very positive one. There was kindness at every turn and a generosity of thoughtfulness towards me that I shall gladly share with folks about your organization. Each person I came into contact with was considerate and filled with goodwill as they assisted me through the process. Thank you for being there when I needed help. I know I can count on your further kindness and assistance when and if I should need the generosity of Community Hope Center again. Our clients, for the most part, are very, very grateful for what we're able to do for them. We have some people who, kind of use the system, and that's just going to be the way it is. We accept that. But the majority of people who come to Community Hope Center are so thankful, so grateful that you support us that we can then help them, and they are so, so thankful. I'm sometimes asked what our greatest needs are, and I will share these with you as I close. I always respond, what is our greatest need? Well, our greatest need is prayer, prayer, prayer. We are a Christ-centered ministry. We need prayer support. This weekend, a vision team is gathering to talk about the future and where God may be leading Community Hope Center. I'm really excited about the future, so I appreciate prayers as we gather Friday night and Saturday for that. We could really use another assistant director in our kitchen. It's a very demanding job. All the food that goes out, as I mentioned, 1.5 tons of food a day. That's a lot of moving boxes of food. We could really use some more help in the kitchen with an assistant volunteer. We always need more donations, clothing, household items. If you have that, we'd love to be able to receive that from you. And of course, we can't do what God's called us to do without financial support, so we appreciate all the finance. Any questions that you would like to ask, I would be happy to try to answer them.